What was my first day in investment banking really like? Woo! Okay, cool. Before we start, I'm going to say please do all the boring stuff. Subscribe, like, comment down below, all that good stuff. Comment down below any questions you want to ask me because I'm going to do a Q&A sort of video for the next one. So yeah, get any comments down below and yeah, just share. I'm just trying to help as many people as I can. Right, anyway, let's just get straight into it. So this is a continuation of my journey. So now I'm arriving at Stifel Investment Bank. One thing that I don't do, which I know a lot of people do, is I always like finish my job, my last job on the Friday and then start on the Monday just because of peas. I need the peas. I know a lot of people have breaks and stuff. I don't do that. Maybe I should do that. But yeah, I just think about the peas to be honest with you. But yeah, so my first day at Stifel, I arrived there, went upstairs. You go into get taken by like IT, like get given a card and all that stuff. They do a photo of you for your card, take you to your desk and set you up. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I was told to report to the guy who gave me that really hard grilling in the interview, who was a VP at the time. So yeah, I was told to report to him. So go watch the videos if you haven't done so, basically just documenting my whole journey. But yeah, I did that and he was just like surprised to see me. I was like, what the hell? And he's like, oh yeah, just go sit there. And yeah, I was like, all right, cool. So for the first like hour or two, I was just basically doing all the e-learnings as you do. One thing I noticed though, so there's a few things I want to just talk about in terms of sort of general environment and stuff. One thing I noticed is that the furnishings are really old. So when you go into a company and you have your interviews, they generally do it in the client rooms. So everything's kind of nice and stuff. And the client rooms, they're fairly nice. But the actual office, I'll be being completely honest, probably the worst I've worked in. I'm not saying it's bad, but compared to other ones I've worked in, it's probably the worst. Just because in terms of everything just looked bare old, like bare old furnishings, tables are bare old. Yeah, but it's fine. Like the one good thing is you had your own desk. So I know a lot of companies are going towards hot desking, but there you had your own desk and like own cupboard, like little cabinet things. So that's kind of cool. That's the best thing about that. I didn't really understand the basically like if you wanted a standing desk because they were old desks, none of them were standing. They'd come and like give you this thing that would plop on your desk, and it'd just be like a little island that moves up and down. One thing annoying about it was it took up so much like real estate on your desk. I ended up getting one just because I know you're meant to have your monitors at a certain height, so I did it mainly for that reason. Yeah, so that was kind of annoying. And then yeah, one in terms of atmosphere and stuff. So I noticed that loads of people just had their headphones in and were just working. There wasn't a lot of speech, like people speaking going around. It was mainly just literally you can on the keyboard and you can just hear like mouses clicking and that. That was basically it really. And yeah, I was a bit like, okay, cool. Like no one really said hi to me, which I was a bit weirded out by because I generally always used to go into the office and say hi to people. Just looking around in terms of if people go out for lunch and stuff, my team generally just went out, got food, and came back to the desk. So I did the same thing and just carried on with work. The first piece of like, I remember I got given like some profile to do in the morning for a company, so I did that. Had a Monday morning meeting where I got introduced to everyone, so that was cool. After that, it was like so. Basically, we used to sit. Six of us used to be like were the juniors, and we used to sit. Analysts and associates used to sit on one bank of desks, and then on the other bank of desks there used to be like eight seniors, and then there was like two seniors elsewhere. And basically, I think at like 1 p.m., one of the other juniors who was sort of more like a senior analyst, she came to me and asked me to do an LBO. I was like, what? Because I've never done an LBO in like actual practice. I've done like fake ABO, like I've done like simulations of LBOs like in my master's degree, but I've never actually done it properly. Yeah, I didn't really know where to start, so I started like googling stuff and I asked her as well. I was like, "Oh, have you got anything that I can go off?" She was like, "No, not really." But she's like, "Use this training thing that we did like 6 months ago." But training things aren't always the best thing to go by. Yeah, I stayed my first day. I stayed there till 11:30, and I was like, "Wow, is this what it's going to be like going forward?" My first week was kind of hectic, just with hours, and I was like, "Oh man, like I've just done this in audit. I can't be bothered to do it again." I knew it's IB though, so I was like, "All right, cool. Let's see how it goes." I managed to. The first LBR I did was kind of crap, but I managed to fix it in the next couple of days. So I think it went all right. And then within my first like 2 weeks, I got put on a deal because in 2021 markets were booming. So our team, for instance, I think we did 2 IPOs in the last 3 months of 2021. Yeah, 2 weeks in, I got put onto an ECM deal where I think we were raising like 50 million maybe, or 45 million or something for a company. And this is what I want to tell people in terms of adding value where you can. Now, one thing that I noticed here is, as part of this deal, I was the most junior on the team, and you're part of lean teams generally. So there was me, a VP, and an MD. That was it on this ECM deal. We were a joint book runner, so it wasn't actually a client, but we would, yeah, it was like we were shadowing it. We were like shadow broker, and so I was asked to do all like the internal stuff, which I had no clue where to start. So I had to keep going to my VP and I said, "Is there anything on system which I could follow?" No, there wasn't. So I was like just making notes as I went by, like what I need to do and when I need to do it by, just in case it happens again. So yeah, I got through it, but I kept having to go to him and be like, "Hey, what do I do next? What do I do next?" And him having to explain to me all the time. So what I end up doing was, because I make notes all the time, and I always say this to people: making notes is so undervalued, and it's something that I think you should do not just for IB but for any job really. So I made these notes in OneNote. I always use OneNote now. I only started using it in that job, but yeah, OneNote is incredible just for sectioning off certain things. So I did it in OneNote, and then after the deal closed, because it was about 2-3 week process, I basically made some checklists in Excel. So I was like, if anyone else is in my position where they come onto the team and don't know where to start, at least they'll have something to follow. So I basically made like a checklist. This is what you do, when to do it, blah blah blah. And I started doing that for all work that I ended up doing, just so then people have something to refer to and they don't have to keep asking the VP. And when I told this to my managers and stuff, they were like, "Oh, that's a really good idea." And look, it's to me, that's really simple, but just that added value. And I think that sort of what that helped me do. So about 3 months later, we had to raise money for that company again. But this time I already knew what I had to do because I had my checklist. So I was constantly just going off my checklist, being like, "Okay, cool. What do I need to do? And it was so funny. My VP would be like, "Oh, Harry, can you do this?" And I was like, "Done it." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool." After that process, I got feedback from the head of my team. He called me for a chat and I was crapping myself because I'm like, I'm still under probation now. And he's like, "I just want to say they think you did really, really well on that deal." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I'm just doing my job." But they loved the fact that I was organized, I was proactive, I knew what I had to do. And I want to help people with this. So what I want to do, I was thinking about this the other day, is I want to provide some resources. So I want to provide like checklists, trackers, planners, because I use trackers and planners as well for all projects. And I use like a planner for, like, I have like a calendar that I use. If anyone's interested, please let me know. So drop in the comments if people would be interested in that. And I want to build this with someone who's good on Excel. So if there's anyone who wants to work with me and like, because I can build it, but it won't look that pretty. So I want someone who knows how to make it look like super nice and super cool and stuff. I want to provide this as a resource for people, sort of like the productivity method by Grace Beverly. I don't know if you've heard of her, but go follow it. That's a sick method as well. But I want to do it my way. And this can be useful for students, whether you're doing A levels, uni students, and also people in careers. I just think it's a really good way, and it's always aided me in every sort of job I've been in. And yeah, it just helps you keep on top of stuff. So yeah, if anyone's interested, please let me know because I really think it'd be really, really beneficial for a lot of people. That's how sort of my first month went. I sort of fell into the whole institutionalized thing where I ended up not saying hi to people coming in because I was like, "Oh, no one's chatting." Some people were busier than me, some people were less busy than me, but our team was super busy because so I worked for an ECM slash public M&A team slash core broking team. We basically sat in the middle of all different sectors. So we're essentially like a product team. So we were sector agnostic. So my clients were FIG clients I did tech clients, I had healthcare clients, I had consumer clients, and I had real estate clients. They were the 5 sectors, and and business services slash support services. So I had like 6 or 7 sectors. And that's one thing that really sort of appealed to me in this role, because I didn't want to pigeonhole myself. So yeah, honestly, it was a great experience. And yeah, like I quickly got to grips of sort of understanding how people work. I think that's the most important thing, because the MD that I've worked with the most, he is the most intense person I've ever worked with. But I work well with him because I'm also intense. And a lot of people can't handle working with him. And I think once I showed that I can be trusted, he really liked me. And it helped me with faster promotions and bonuses. So you need to find your person, someone that you work well with. It's good to work well with everyone, but like I said, sometimes you just sort of align sometimes better with certain people. And this person literally brought in the most clients. Like I said to him actually when I left, I said, if I had a public company, you would be the first person I would want to have as my corporate broker, because your client service is insane. And I stand by that. So I want to thank him because I learned a lot from him. Even though it was so annoying sometimes to work with him because he's so intense and he expects things yesterday. But unfortunately, that's the world of investment banking, especially working in public markets. And yeah, it was, I just want to thank him for everything, to be honest. Now, you work with loads of different people. Like, you have to adapt your style when you're working with different people, but try and find your person. And yeah, it's about aligning yourself with the right people. It depends how far you want to go as well. I feel like people have different views in terms of how long they want to spend in investment banking, if they want to be lifers or they want to move around or whatever it is. And yeah, that's basically my journey into investment banking. I'm going to cut it short there, but obviously what I want to do now is sort of delve into different topics. So I'm going to make videos where it's specific topics. So any questions you have, please comment down below. I'm going to do that. What I'm going to do for my next one is kind of going to be like a quick fire Q&A. I wanted this one to be less about specific, like broader questions. You can make it more about me if you want, but I just want to like maybe a lot more of a personal Q&A one. So anything like, it can be finance related, but anything like, it could be about certain things you want to know about my experience within it. Yeah, I'm going to do that for the next one. But going forward, please leave comments below and I'll expand on them in this format, because I feel like I do my TikToks and they're cool and that, but here I really want to delve deeper into certain topics. So any topics you want me to delve deeper into, I will do that here. And I think with a whiteboard thing, I think it's kind of cool as well. I'll be real. And I want to get better at editing these. Look, I know this is bare basic. I just don't have time to try and edit stuff at the minute, but I will get better. And if I can monetize this stuff, then I'll have more time, because then I'll switch more into this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll eventually, like I want people to support Mirum. So if anyone's about in London this summer, in June, we're going to be at Taste of London Festival. Come along. Yeah, we're going to take Mirum to the moon. Follow up Mirum. It's MIRUM. The socials are the Mirum UK everywhere. So the MIRUM UK. The website is themirum.co.uk. Yeah, man, I'm trying to take that to the moon. So my sort of next steps hopefully are like, I don't want to talk about my current position, because I'm in that right now and I don't think you should do that. But my sort of plan is to hopefully in the next year, let's say, transition slowly into either a part-time position sort of in finance, so then I can focus more on my business, or if I'm lucky enough to do my business full-time. And then things like this I'll be able to do more of, because I'll have more free time, because when I'm working for myself I can work when I want. So that's when I want to help like do this kind of stuff. And if I see the momentum here, I'll keep going. So if I can get to 1,000 subscribers on here fairly quickly, I'll keep going. If I can get monetized, I'll keep going, and I'll bring in some editors and stuff to make it look better. And I've got loads of different ideas. So I've got an idea of a podcast. Would anyone be interested in that? So it'll be like a podcast where I'm chatting about people's careers. Yeah, I want basically like kind of like Diary of CEO, but like more more chill, because that's too intense for me. I'll be real. I can be intense, but I don't want this to be intense. So I'll bring on like my mates and colleagues that I've worked with over the years in different aspects of finance, or it doesn't even have to be finance. It can be my mates who work in like, I've got one of my best mates is one of the most creative people I know. I've got one of my mates is like, I do my music with him. He's sound engineer. He's sick. So I can talk about their careers and stuff, and I just think it'd be kind of cool. But let me know if that's something you're interested in, because I really want to get that started, to be honest with you. And it'll be kind of cool just having a different setting rather than me just like sitting here. Just, do you know what I mean? I'll still do these videos. So I'll have these videos. I have my weekly vlogs, which I need to get better at as well. And then they drop on Sundays, these drop on Wednesdays, and then I'll also find time to do like a podcast as well. Maybe that's like on a monthly basis or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of like the plan. Let me know if that's something you guys want to see, because I'm trying to build an empire here. So like this can be all like my career focused stuff, and like me as a person. And then I'm gonna have Miram. So we're actually looking for a video editor, like proper video editor for Miram right now, because we've got YouTube that we're looking to start on there. So we're looking for a YouTube editor for that. And then once that's sort of figured out, I'll go back to focusing on my music as well, because I'm working right now with a label. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but I just want to do as much as I can, to be honest, and just be in people's faces. I'll be real with you. I want to influence as many people as I can, and that's the way to do it. But yeah, please let me know your thoughts on that. Drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscription, most importantly, and let's get it, man. Let me help you. That's what I want to do with this. So yeah, drop a comment and let me know. Peace.